As our opponent stated, citizens of countries that were a part of the Arab Spring had been living through a prolonged time of hardship and injustice. Without this political, social, and economic climate, the immolation of Mohamed Bouazizi would have been viewed as tragic, but most likely would not have become a catalyst for a protest, much less an international revolution that led to the overthrow of long-standing governments. However, the political, social, and economic hardships and injustices that citizens faced had been in place for years, if not decades, but nothing like the Arab Spring had ever happened before. It was social media that fed off the events in Tunisia, leveraged as fuel the simmering discontent that was occurring in neighboring countries, and started the huge Arab Spring fire by 1. Establishing diverse coalitions with a unifying goal that cut across social and political lines. 2. Recruiting actors from beyond national borders. 3. Propelling collective action as seen in the mass protests in Tunisia after the picture of Bouazizi on fire went viral. 4. Driving the dissemination of important information that was censored by the government and/or was not picked up by traditional media outlets. This information not only appraised citizens of important events, but also created political debates and mobilized citizens. In a 2011 poll sponsored by the Dubai School of Government, 28% of Egyptians and 29% of Tunisians said that blocking Facebook greatly hindered and/or disrupted communication, but more than half, 56% in Egypt and 59% in Tunisia, said it had had a positive effect, motivating them to press on and mobilize newcomers. Point 5. Creating a critical space to organize protests and spread awareness of the protests in real time, protests which were key to the success of the Arab Spring. 6. Allowed for shared ownership of the circulation of information, so that if one source was no longer able to disseminate knowledge, another source was able to take its place without the movement losing momentum. The nature of social media makes it very different from other communication mediums. It isn't simply a vehicle to share information or engage in debates, but it provides a real-time platform for storytelling through text, images, and video. Quote, protesters telling stories about their shared grievances and sense of desperation became much of the content that flowed through these social media networks, unquote. It was the dissemination of these stories that were rooted in the social, political, and economic troubles that Middle Eastern and North African countries faced, that triggered a collective emotional response in local citizens, neighboring countries, and citizens around the world, and ultimately caused the Arab Spring.